So I've actually asked permission, thanks Carla for announcing it, that, the beautiful people that are helping us during the morning, that they just spend 20 minutes here to possibly find something of value, because I struggle to say good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I prefer to say good afternoon, human beings. Because with everything, I think we tend to lose sight of the fact that we're human beings. So I'm going to even ask everybody that's sitting on the periphery, guys, and yes, I am an ex-school teacher. It surfaces every now and again. I can't help myself. Ronel's laughing. I'm actually going to ask everybody sitting behind the tables who are exhibiting here, could I ask you to please put your cell phones away? I've been watching you all. You engage in your cell phones, because I would love to contribute to your lives in whatever way that I can today. I've got 20 minutes. I promised myself many years ago that whether I have 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 20 minutes, that I would do whatever I can with regard to eliminate the lies that we have been told in life. To crash through the barriers, and tomorrow I'm speaking about, I think, 11 o'clock, if I'm right. To crash through those self-imposed, sometimes subconscious barriers that we have. So thank you, Angelique and Charlotte, for allowing me to ask the other people to be with us. And ladies and gents, human beings, if you ever visit us and enter our home in St. Francis Bay in the beautiful Eastern Cape, there's always a table set. Always. You will never enter into our home where there's not a table set with flowers, because you never know who may need to come and visit. You never know where the angels enter through the door. And you never know when you may get that call. So when I saw open seats here, for whatever reason, it was truly something, thanks Charlotte and Angelique, that weighed on my heart to say, can we have everybody that's serving here today just to spend 20 minutes here? So as what usually happens to me, because that's my topic and I will spend time on the topic, when I listen to previous speakers, I always make these notes. Thank you for these amazing pieces of paper. Because things surface for me. And there's a story that I'm going to tell you, it's a true one. Because there's a lot of stories we have that aren't true, right? Stories we tell ourselves. And we actually believe them. This is a true story. It happened to me about 9 years ago when I was sitting on a plane in the aisle, because I have a bit of a problem. I need to know I can escape as soon as possible. So I was sitting in the aisle seat, and next to me were 2 gentlemen, and I started engaging with one gentleman. And the jelly beans that Kobus spoke about actually reminded me of something that I believe we don't realize or we tend to forget. But let me get back to my story. There was a young man next to me, and we started chatting, and I asked him his name, and I remember his name very clearly because his name was Gift. Don't know what his surname is. And Gift was in his first year at university studying to be a pediatrician. But Gift was confused because he saw me working on my laptop, and he saw that I do neuro coaching and neuro leadership and neuro stuff. And he asked me what that was. And I started engaging with Gift, and he said to me, Kim, I'm confused because I don't know if I must continue with my studies. Now, the ladies at that table know what the dropout rate is of the first years of people in colleges and universities. It's over 46%. All right? Why? Because of the inside stuff and the fears and the limiting beliefs. And what others call life skills, I call them alpha skills. We need to start with those. So I'm going to end that story about Gift. And I took Gift through something called M-braining, or MBIT, multiple brain integration technique. I'm going to show you a little bit about this today. It's the only way that you and I get to authenticity and wisdom with regard to our lives, our companies, our futures, our goals, our relationships. We need to integrate the head and the heart and the gut brain. That is wisdom. I took Gift through this because he wasn't sure he needed to continue. So fast track to about, where are we now? First quarter. About 6-7 months ago, I got an email from Gift telling me that he had finished his studies as a pediatrician. And the defining moment was on the aeroplane. Why? Not because of me. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we can make every moment we engage with ourselves, with our loved ones, with our clients count in a way that we may never realize, because I'm going to leave you with that and then I'm going to go over to my slide pack and I'll be finished in 20 minutes. Okay? Your neurology does not record logistical, mathematical information such as, I'm only spending 4 hours with my family. I'm only spending 20 minutes with somebody. I need work-life balance. By the way, there is no such thing. There is no such thing as work-life balance. We need to design our lives, ladies and gentlemen. You need to design your life for who you are and what you want to achieve. Because if you don't design it, everything and everybody else is going to design it for you. When you've designed your life and you've had courageous conversations and you've planned to abandon those and that which is not serving you, ouch. That's a horrible word, right? Abandonment. But if we understand what it means, it's very powerful. Not what we think it means. If we are so clear, and I don't care if you are 78 or 18 or 48, you can design the rest of your life. And when you've designed your life, why don't you and I find out what is standing in our way and blocking the abundance toward that designed life? It's not whether you can build the business you want, spend the next 20 years that you have becoming a phenomenal brand. Well, according to Discovery and Liberty, etc., I have about 20 years left. Okay. And you know what we do, ladies and gents? Charlotte, when can I use my spicy words? Now? Okay. All right. We believe so much kakkies. Who doesn't know what that means? Shit. Out there. Stuff that's been said at the dinner table, something a teacher said to us, the things we adopt to be the truth. And you know what happens, and yes, I am a neuro nerd. Your neurology believes everything you tell it. I'm not pretty enough, I'm not tall enough, I'm not handsome enough, I'm too old, I'm too young. I don't speak well. I shouldn't wear an off-shoulder on stage. I should wear a pinstripe suit. Just not me. I was actually speaking to Ronelle during the break. And I'm going to show you some things where you can become very curious about the stories that we've started believing. Now, neuroscience tells us that your neurology will believe everything you tell it. I am not. People can be trusted, they can't be trusted. The business world is, it isn't. I'm too old, I'm too young. Your neurology loves you, it will believe you. And everything starts with a belief. So can you, with curiosity and fascination, explore your belief systems? Because here's the interesting but dangerous thing, ladies and gents. We sometimes call our belief systems our values and our principles because they keep us safe. I did. I'm not talking about your faith. I'm talking about your belief systems, about yourself, about others, about business. Everything starts with a belief. A belief gives way, that's how it works in the neurology, to a thought, one of the most powerful units of energy in the universe. Be careful, your manual of life may say, what you think upon. It determines your whole life. Have you read that somewhere? But you will think as you believe. I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too pretty, can you be too pretty? Well, either way. Whatever the belief system is, will automatically give way to your thoughts, which give way to emotions. And by the way, emotion is energy in motion. It comes from the Latin word emovere, to move out with energy. Your thought sets the energy in motion, which we then label happiness, sadness, worry, fear, whatever it is. And then we see a result in our lives. Can we become fascinated about our belief systems? Tomorrow I delve a little bit deeper into that. So if you haven't booked for tomorrow, there's also other incredible speakers. I would love to do a little bit more of a deep dive into your belief systems. So this is my topic, rewire your brain, or brains. Because science has proven we actually have 3 flexible, adaptive neural networks that are called brains. Is die waarheid. It's the truth. It's weird because your biology teacher told you you've got one, best you use your head, right? You want to ask me why we have the illnesses and the burnout and everything we have in business? We use this way too much. It only has 3 main functions. I'm going to show you a little bit later. Ronel knows I become passionate about, ladies and gents, in all the dictionaries that you've ever accessed, they've made a massive mistake. There is no such thing as retirement. It's a spelling error. It's rewirement. But you know we believe it because the insurance companies and the media and the Fair Lady and the GQ is that a bad magazine? What's the GQ magazine? I don't know where I got that from. But anyway, the magazines tell us that be careful, you're getting close to retirement. Be careful, you're too young. All right. And how do we know, and I'm going to give you a lot of neuro-nerd stuff, we're not here to become neuroscientists, but I'm going to give you a lot of neuroscience, fascinating stuff. Please keep in mind, science stumbles upon ancient wisdom. Everything science tells you has always been there. It just makes it very practical for us, and I'm going to hopefully make it very practical for you. So how do we rewire our brains to unlock creative and innovative growth? Because that's what we need to honor what the Women of Stature and the Dream Bigger Summit represents. And your life and your relationships. There's something called neuroplasticity. It's a buzzword. You can go and have a look at exclusive books. There's lots of books about this neuroplasticity. It means your brain or brains or whole neurology needs change, especially when something is not serving you, serving your health, serving your goals, serving this journey that you are on. It's waiting and begging to change. How does it change? In the direction, whether it's money or relationships or your job, it wants to change and will change in the direction that you instructed to, that your belief systems work in, where and how your thoughts are. And when your thought marries the emotion, remember my little dance earlier, now we're in business, because you will behave that way and we will see the results that way. So neuroplasticity means you've got everything you need for your neurons to start firing and create neural pathways which eventually become the results in your life. If it's not serving you, and it's not working for you in your life, and what you want to achieve on this journey, let's look at our belief systems. Let's look at those limiting beliefs, those fears, those unprocessed negative emotions about stuff that has happened in life. And what you and I now know is we've been created beautifully and powerfully to change anything, wait for it, you put your mind to, right? That you then link an emotion to in the heart. Okay. Then there's something called synaptic pruning. Don't need to remember it, but it means if you stop doing stuff, if you interject yourself, no, that doesn't sound right. If you intervene, interject yourself, whoever's doing the video, just cut that out, okay? If you intervene in your thoughts, if you catch yourself in time, if you become an independent observer of what the fridge am I thinking about? Okay. In that moment, you start rewiring, and if you stop thinking and stop feeling in unproductive and bad ways and stop doing things, it's called synaptic pruning. We prune the synapse, don't worry about really what that means, but it happens. And the more we don't do it, the more difficult it becomes to do it again. So it's small steps, all right? So that's really what rewiring means, because we hear this word so often. And this is, in practice, what it means. Okay, so the word in my topic is potential. I'd like you to please write this down, ladies and gentlemen. 10, don't worry how this is written, because I had standard grade maths. I've got other strengths. But I know what I'm going to tell you now is my third spicy word. I think I've got 5 that I can use. It's a shitload. Okay, I don't know how else to say that. The potential that you and I as human beings have is 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 11. At any given time, that is our processing power of our neurology. That's real potential. So it doesn't matter where you come from, whether you have no or many degrees. You and I have the real potential. So what gets in our way? Stuff. Right? Our belief systems, our fears. Because the question is not whether we are gifted and created with the potential. The question, the powerful question, is what gets in our way. And I'm going to speak into how our truth gets us into trouble. And yen, we've got truths, eh? We sometimes will live and die by our truths. We will break relationships. And I'm going to show you how no one can make you feel anything. No one. And I'm going to end off today with your 3 powerful brains or centers of intelligence. Saturday, tomorrow's session, I speak a lot more about the limiting beliefs in breaking through barriers. All right. Do you see that little thing in the top left-hand corner? It looks like a, what is it, a walnut or one of the nuts? It looks like one of the nuts. Don't know which one. Can you guys see it? Top left-hand corner. It's called the amygdala. Did you know you had one? Amygdala. A-M-A-G, amygdala. A-M-A-G-Y-D-A-L-A. Yeah. Amygdala or amygdala. It sits in your limbic brain. Doesn't really matter. What matters is that we all have one. It's created to detect, it's very closely linked to emotions, but it's created to detect any danger or fear that you perceive, whether it's money, whether it's public speaking, whether it's relationship building, whether it's invoicing for your duties, whether it is having a courageous conversation with your manager, it doesn't matter. Whether it's an age thing, It is created to detect anything that you may feel is fear. Please tell me this makes sense, guys. Well, guys are guys and girls. All right? So if you fear money, if you fear relationships, if you can't trust, if you fear speaking, if you fear being an entrepreneur, your amygdala believes it's the same fear as being chased down by a saber-toothed tiger. Cannot differentiate. And we program it. You will go in anything that is change or discomfort or uncertainty, you will go into fight or flight or freeze, because that's what it does. It's doing its job. It's not a baddie. It's doing its job. Let's befriend it and figure out. And then there's a fourth one that the amygdala does. Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, F-A-W-N. Have you heard of that one? Okay. We fake things. We fawn things. It's okay, it's not that bad. Maybe I didn't really want to achieve this. Maybe it's better for me to just sit at home. Or to be single. Or to not have a lot of money, because the more money we have, the more dangerous it is. Can you guys hear the fawning? Okay. Your amygdala is doing that. If it works for you and your dreams and your goals, it's okay. If it's not, let's confront it. Let's look at ourselves naked in the mirror. Ladies, the gents tend to like that. Sorry, Jem, I'm not, because I'm married to you and you're gorgeous, it doesn't mean I'm thinking all men do that. But we do that. We shy, but we need to look ourselves naked in the mirror and be honest with ourselves, maybe for the first time ever, about what is it in limiting beliefs, fears, and unprocessed negative emotions about stuff that has happened to us or stuff we observed in our parents that is getting in our way of abundance for your life. Because beliefs lead to thoughts, to emotion, to behavior. Did you know that the amygdala will churn out 16 to 17 risk-related negative thoughts for any type of thought you have? It's doing its job, remember? It's what you just said. If you say, ooh, I want to start my own company, I really want to get involved in this, so I want to grow my brand. Okay, we know now, what is the amygdala going to do? It's going to give you 16 or 17 thoughts. Ooh, be careful, why not? You need lots of money. You can't trust people. I'm not pretty enough. What is it with me and the pretty thing today? Anyway, all right. It's going to do its job. What we know after today is you stand back and you say, fascinating. Where did that come from? Because it will give you 16 to 17 risk-related thoughts. It's designed to save your life. That's what it's designed to do. But it thinks it's saving your life if you have a fear for money, because money is a saber-toothed tiger. All right, and then we come up with these pearls of wisdom. But my manual of life says money is the root of all evil. Ne? Your manual of life also says, be blessed beyond measure, just be accountable. So you see, we decide what we want to believe. That suits our amygdala's programming. Okay. We need to become conscious gatekeepers and aware of our thoughts that come from our belief systems. Ladies and gents, can we make a decision today to take back our power to become independent observers of our thoughts? You are not your thoughts. You are way more, especially those that aren't serving you. You are not your emotions that aren't serving you. You are way more. Remember, 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 11. Link that to your faith. But let us become independent observers. It's called metacognition. Think what you're thinking about. and dissociate yourself and look in onto your life and your thoughts and your emotions as an independent observer, as a journalist. And how is that serving you? And then there's something which leads to my second topic, and then I'll move on to my third. In neurocoaching and neurolinguistics, we always say the map is not the territory. Your thoughts, your emotions, the way you get to your truth is your map, and that becomes your world, right? But there's a whole other territory out there. That if you start exploring your belief systems and your thoughts and unprocessed negative emotions that you may still be looping with inside of you because of stuff that happens to us in life, you will remain within your map. And if your map is not serving you, let's explore the territory. Let's push the boundaries a little bit. Okay. Because how you and I get to our thoughts, and I'm going to give you another neuro-nerd thing. And now I always need to manage myself because I can go down a rabbit hole with this because it's so important. Okay. At any given time, you and I, as you are sitting there now, when you think about money or relationships or business or whatever it is, you take in about 4 million bits of information per second. Okay. It goes through your senses, what we call your VACOG, visually, auditory, kinesthetic, smell, olfactory, gustatory, taste, doesn't matter. Your senses, what's another word for senses? What you see, what you hear, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Outside world, people, money, business, is neutral, by the way, has no meaning. Being a multi-billionaire is a concept. Money is a concept. Relationships is a concept. It has no meaning. Nothing, nada. Even your children and your cat and your dog. Now I've got your attention. They are meaningless. All right? Just hold the space for me here, please. Until they enter into your world through your senses, you start assigning a meaning to the concept. Your meaning. You guys are very quiet. Does that make sense? You are assigning a meaning to money. Why, guys, there's a book called Black Box Thinking. I think by Matthew Syed, it always stuffs us up. But anyway, it's called Black Box Thinking. Change your relationship with failure. You need to want failure in your life. So let's speak about failure for me to give the analogy. You are in a situation where you feel you have failed for whatever reason, all right? Failure is neutral. It's a word linked to a concept. Like money, relationships. It comes into your world through your senses because that's how we as humans experience. You then start assigning a meaning to it, right? Like money, relationships, retirement, whatever it is. And you assign a meaning to that neutral something based on your personality, what we call meta programs, that's not important, your experiences, your fears, your limiting beliefs, your unprocessed negative emotions. You are now assigning a meaning to a neutral concept. Why do some people get invigorated by failure and money, and others shrink and stand back? Money is money. It's a piece of paper with a print on. Well, now it's crypto and a whole lot of other stuff. All right. So you take in 4 million bits of information about life, business, money, a relationship, trust. And it goes through a whole process. And that's why we aren't innovative and creative as we can be. It goes through a whole process, which I'm going to show tomorrow, but I'm going to give it to you today, of filtering that information based on you and your stuff and your belief systems. And on the other side, You can only be consciously aware of 2,000 bits of information per second, which you and I call our truth, our values, our perceptions. That's neuro-nerd stuff. But what is the principle here? Is what are you filtering? What is standing in your way? What is blocking your abundance? What are the fears and the limiting beliefs and the stories? Because if you're 2,000 bits of information per second, your truth about anything or anybody is not serving you, let's go and change it. We can, because we have neuroplasticity. We've been designed that way. It takes courage, doesn't it? So read Brené Brown's Rising Strong. We need to relearn to be vulnerable about our stuff. We need to step into vulnerability. Because on the other side, and vulnerability is about our limiting beliefs and our stuff that's not working in our lives. And if we step into vulnerability and we relearn to be vulnerable, courage will meet us halfway. Because that's how it happens in God's economy. Courage will meet you, and on the other side of your greatest vulnerabilities and the courage that you need lies your greatest achievement. That is the formula. Not outside in an institution or with somebody, not in another person, not in another degree. You can do that if you want, it's all permissible. In here. Because one of the biggest lies we've been told is that your future, your happiness, your abundance, your prosperity lies somewhere out there. How much longer are you going to chase that? All right. I'm in the home stretch. Nobody can make you feel anything. But we do feel. And that's okay. And we can acknowledge it, whatever you feel. But this may, ladies and gents, sound like a little word game. If we change our words, we change our story, we change our chemistry, and we change our destiny. And words are very powerful. Read your manual of life. Have a look what is happening in the world. Powers that are speaking words. Words that are spoken over us. Words we speak over ourselves. All right. If you and I say, I don't know why I'm not picking on you, Ronelle, but you're on my mind today, so I'm going to use you as an example. Is that all right? Okay. Ronelle made me angry. Because we say that, don't we? It's the way we communicate. But because I'm in the neuroscience of stuff and the neurology, in that moment, my neurology believes Ronelle has power over me. Just given my power away. Sandy, you like that one? Okay. Now, if I say, I am feeling angry. Fascinating. I'm very angry. All right. What is the reason? Something that happened in the conversation between Ronelle and I. Not the case, Ronelle, just an example. Okay. Or something somebody did. This is how I'm experiencing it. So what can I do about it? In that moment, your whole neurology has a whole different sense of being, that I am in control of this emotion that I hold. So I'm going to ask you, leaving here today, become fascinated and independent observers of your words, your inner dialogue, and what you speak out. Because your neurology believes everything. Okay. And I'm going to give you a quick emotional model. Do I have 3 minutes left? 5 minutes? Okay. So much talk about should we be emotional, shouldn't we? Please be emotional. If you're not, you are not honoring your design. It's not a trade-off, ladies and gents, logic and emotion. And I hear that so often in businesses. Every emotion is important. if we don't honor every single emotion, they start looping. Remember when you got told as a child, don't cry, don't be angry, don't be sad, don't be upset? And then we grow up and they become triggers. Am I the only one? Okay, thank you. All right. So what we need to do is to honor the emotion, acknowledge the emotion, own the emotion, but bring it into proportion. It's a little model that I put together because I thought, if I stop doing emotion, I'm going to be a very boring person. So here is the model, very briefly. When you can sense an emotion, acknowledge it, bring it into proportion with the stimulus or the trigger, a person or a thing, or an email. Am I making sense? So whatever the stimulus is, a person or a thing or a whatever, check in on the emotion that you are feeling and linking to that. And if it's out of proportion, if you're 2 years old, ladies and gents, and you don't have lunch and you scream and shout, I think it's sort of in proportion because you're a 2-year-old and you're hungry and you can't make your own lasagna. What do we eat when we're 2? Purity. Not. Peaches. Oh, my word. Veggies. Okay. Purified called purity. All right. It's okay if you scream and cry when you're 2 years old. The emotion is in proportion with the stimulus that I don't have food and I'm hungry. But if you're 45 and you forgot your veggie roll, or whatever it is that you eat, is that the right thing? And you go to work and you open your briefcase and you forgot your veggie roll and you scream and shout, and as they say in beautiful Afrikaans, jy gooi 'n vloermoer. I just love that. I heard that word a while ago. Anyway, it's a bit of a swear word, right? But that's what it is. Is that emotion, if you're in the office and you're having a meltdown and a tantrum because you forgot your veggie roll, is that in proportion with the stimulus? No, it's not. So please get angry in proportion in the emotionally intelligent way. And this is a model that we need to teach our kids and ourselves. And if you don't know how to do that, now ladies and gents, proportion doesn't mean bring it down. Some of us sitting here today should bring it a notch up. You need to get more angry sometimes. You need to get more frustrated. You need to voice that. You need to honor yourself. And if you're not doing that, it causes, ladies and gents, what we call diseases. Have you heard of the word? Diseases. Stress. Is this as good as it gets? I'm not honoring myself. Anybody ever felt that way? And then we can learn the skill. But we need to bring it back into proportion. Sometimes bring it up, sometimes bring it down. Whatever it is for you. That is emotional intelligence. People ask me to teach on emotional intelligence. Daniel Goleman is brilliant, and I think it's Cheryl said how important it is. We need to start making it practical. And this is one of the practical models. If it's a 9 out of 10, and that's not in proportion, what will proportion be? Maybe a 3 out of 10. Okay, cool. I'll bring it down to a 3 out of 10. Then I do something about it. I have a conversation, or I meditate, or I hit my boxing bag, or whatever it is that you need to do. All right. And then last but not least, and I'm ending off with this today. Present scientific research has proven, some of you have heard this from me because I will stand on the roofs of houses to advocate this to our leaders, to entrepreneurs, to human beings. It's the time we get to know how we work and how we get in our own ways. And the only way we can get to wisdom and authenticity about the decisions in your life, what is lacking, what is going on in your relationships, is by understanding that we have a head, cephalic, a heart, cardiac, and a gut, enteric brain. Now, yes, there's mushy grey stuff here. Who are the clever people? Is the stuff here grey? It always looks grey on the pictures. Your brain. Okay? The heart is the reddish one. The gut, I don't know what, green, yucky green stuff, I think. That's the house. That's the casing. For what? For neurons. For glial cells. For memory cells. There's activity happening there. We can feel it here, right? And this is what we get told to use way too much. I said that earlier. In here is the same stuff that science has proven. You did the embraining course. It's a brain. We need to start understanding what their functions are. The gut is a brain. So in closing, they each have their own function. The head brain's function is thinking, analyzing, making meaning of things. That's it. There's lots of stuff under that. The heart brain is emotional processing, connection, passion. And the gut brain, first one formed when you were formed. First brain formed is the gut brain, not the head or the heart brain. Is our core identity, taking action toward things or away, and safety. So ladies and gents, in closing, we need to align all three centers of intelligence, because that is the only way we get to wisdom and authenticity about your life, your dreams. Which one rules in your life? Let the other two enter the door and let them speak to one another. So I want to say thank you. You have all the potential and the power of potential within you. Honor the wisdom within head, heart, and gut. Embrace your authenticity. Please take back the steering wheel of your life. Who have you handed it to? What have you handed the steering wheel of your life to? I think Sharul also touched on that. Rewire your brains and step into your creative and innovative gift of growth. It is your birthright. Nobody has to give it to you. Thank you so much.